Cheating doesn't start with lipstick on the collar or late nights she can't explain. It starts with words, little phrases she slips into conversation, thinking they'll cover her tracks, when in reality they expose her guilt more than anything else. The scary part, most men miss it. They hear these phrases and blame themselves. They get gaslighted into silence, convinced they're paranoid or insecure. But a woman's tongue always betrays her heart. And when she's unfaithful, there are certain things she'll say without even realizing it. Phrases that act as red flags flashing in plain sight. Today, I'm going to expose those phrases, because once you hear them for what they really are, you'll never ignore your gut again. 1. She says, "Why don't you trust me?" At first, it sounds innocent, even reasonable. A woman looking at you with wide eyes, maybe even a touch of hurt in her voice, asking, "Why don't you trust me?" Most men hear this and immediately back down. They feel guilty. They question themselves. They think, maybe I'm being too suspicious. Maybe I'm the problem. But here is the dark truth. When a woman says, "Why don't you trust me?" out of nowhere, it's often because she already knows she's unworthy of your trust. The words slip because her conscience is leaking through her mouth. Psychologists call this projection, a defense mechanism where someone shifts their guilt onto the other person. Instead of confronting her own betrayal, she frames you as the paranoid one, the insecure one, the unreasonable one. That way, she diverts attention from her own actions and makes you defend yourself instead. And if you fall into that trap, she wins. Think about the timing. A loyal woman rarely asks this question because she knows her behavior proves her honesty. Her actions align with her words. She's open, transparent, steady. But an unfaithful woman, she feels the tension of her double life. She knows her phone hides conversations she hopes you'll never see. She knows her sudden late nights, vague explanations, and emotional distance are suspicious. So before you can even call her out, she flips the script. "Why don't you trust me?" It's not a question, it's a shield. And the moment you rush to reassure her, you hand her the power. Picture the scenario. You ask a simple question, maybe something small like, "Who were you with last night?" Instead of answering directly, she bristles. Her tone sharpens, and then she hits you with it. "Why don't you trust me?" Notice what happened. Your question disappeared. The focus is no longer on her behavior. It's on your supposed insecurity. That's not an accident. That's a tactic, even if she doesn't consciously plan it. But here's where most men fail. They hear those words and immediately scramble. "Of course I trust you, baby." Or worse, "You're right, I shouldn't doubt you." That desperate reassurance might calm the moment, but it only empowers her to keep lying because she's learned her words can control you. The Stoic approach is different. A Stoic man doesn't get pulled into emotional games. He recognizes the phrase for what it is, a red flag. Instead of defending himself, he observes. Instead of arguing, he grows silent, because silence reveals more than debate ever could. In that silence, she panics. She realizes the old trick didn't work, and that's when the cracks in her story begin to show. The truth is, a faithful woman doesn't need to demand trust. Her behavior earns it. Only the guilty insist on it. And when she says, "Why don't you trust me?" without realizing it, she's giving herself away. So the next time you hear those words, don't dismiss them as drama. Don't drown in guilt. See them for what they are, a confession disguised as a question. Because when an unfaithful woman speaks, her betrayal always leaks between the lines. 2. She says you're overreacting. When a woman is faithful, she meets your concerns with calm clarity. She explains, reassures, and makes you feel safe. But when she's hiding something, the moment you bring up her behavior, she snaps back with a dismissive phrase, "You're overreacting." At first, it sounds like she's diffusing the tension, but look closer. This isn't comfort, it's deflection. She's not addressing the issue, she's minimizing your intuition, and that's the giveaway. Psychologists call this gaslighting, when someone manipulates you into doubting your own perception. An unfaithful woman uses your overreacting to twist the spotlight away from her actions and onto your supposed paranoia. If she can make you question your instincts, she buys herself more time to cover her tracks. Picture it.
You notice she's suddenly glued to her phone at night, smiling at messages she won't share. You ask about it, and instead of an honest answer, you get, "You're overreacting. It's nothing." That word nothing is the dagger, because if it truly were nothing, she would show you. The fact that she doesn't means it's something. Most men cave here. They don't want to be seen as insecure, so they back down. They apologize, and in that moment, she wins. She learns that all she has to do is accuse you of overreacting, and you'll silence yourself. That's why this phrase is so dangerous. The Stoic response: you don't argue and you don't retreat. You stay silent, observe, and let her words hang in the air, because silence forces her to feel the weight of her own excuse. The less you react, the more her nervousness grows, and nervousness always reveals the cracks. Remember this: a faithful woman will comfort your doubts, an unfaithful woman will mock them. And every time she tells you you're overreacting, without realizing it, she's exposing her guilt. 3. She says, "I just need some space." Space. It's the word women use when they're already halfway out the door. When she's faithful, she leans in. She wants more closeness, more connection, more intimacy. But when she's unfaithful, or planning to be, she creates distance. And the way she justifies that distance is by saying, "I just need some space." Now, in a healthy relationship, people do need breathing room. But here's the difference. When it's genuine, she'll still be emotionally present. She'll explain it clearly. She'll include you in the process. When it's not genuine, the word space becomes a shield for secrecy. It's not about self-care. It's about making room for someone else. Think about the timing. Women don't usually ask for space when things are stable. They ask for it when their guilt is growing. They want distance because it eases their conscience. If she cheats while still glued to your side, the betrayal feels sharper. But if she creates space first, she tells herself the relationship was already fading. That lie makes her feel less guilty. Psychologists call this cognitive dissonance reduction, the mental trick of justifying bad behavior by rewriting the story. She doesn't think, "I'm betraying him." She tells herself, "I needed space. We were already drifting. It's not really cheating." Most men don't see this for what it is. They hear the words and think, "She just needs time. I'll give it to her." But giving her space during this stage doesn't fix things. It accelerates them. Because the space isn't for her healing, it's for her betrayal. The Stoic man sees through this. He doesn't panic or beg when she asks for space. He observes, detaches, and prepares himself for the truth. Because asking for space isn't a request, it's a confession. When a woman says, "I just need some space," she doesn't realize she's giving herself away, but she is. Because no woman in love wants distance from the man she desires. Only the unfaithful do. 4. She says it's not what it looks like. There's a reason this phrase is so infamous. It's the knee-jerk reaction of someone caught in the act. The unfaithful woman says it almost instinctively, without planning, without thinking, because her brain is scrambling to protect her secret. Think about it. If something truly wasn't what it looked like, she'd calmly explain. She'd offer details, reassurance, maybe even show proof. But when she blurts out, "It's not what it looks like," she's revealing panic. That panic is the giveaway. Psychologists call this a reflexive denial response. It's the mind's attempt to create distance between guilt and exposure. But here's the irony. By saying it, she confirms that there is something to look at. The brutal reality is this: if you ever hear her say, "It's not what it looks like," chances are it's exactly what it looks like. And deep down, she knows she just told on herself. 5. She says you're just being insecure. When a woman is loyal, she reassures your concerns with honesty. She addresses them directly. But when she's unfaithful, she doesn't want to deal with your suspicion, so she attacks you. That's when you hear the phrase, "You're just being insecure." At first, it feels like an insult, but what it really is projection. She's the one carrying guilt. She's the one hiding. And instead of facing it, she flips it onto you. Now the problem isn't her secrecy, it's your insecurity. Clever, but revealing. This tactic is a form of gaslighting. By labeling your intuition as weakness, she's trying to kill your confidence, because the weaker you feel, the easier it is for her to keep lying. And most men fall for it. They question themselves, back down, and even apologize. But the truth is, suspicion isn't always insecurity. Sometimes it's instinct. Your gut notices what your brain tries to ignore. The late replies, the secretive phone, the emotional distance, those are signals. And when she calls you insecure, she's trying to smother the alarm bell ringing in your chest. If you're ready to hear the truths women hope you'll never figure out, hit that subscribe button right now and drop the word truth in the comments if you've ever heard one of these phrases and felt that gut-level suspicion.